the Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that He used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book.
Right, I knew it was something because I saw the little joints right there. I'm like, okay.
And the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy, you're invited. Shalom, brothers and sisters. Shalom, shalom. We're the elders of the Gathered of Christ Church, and man, if y'all would have seen what happened on the other side, I've never seen these computers wig out like this. But once you hear the lesson, you'll probably understand. We're at the end of the dedication. I would like to say Shabbat Shalom to all the brothers and sisters throughout the four corners of the earth. I hope you all are blessed in the Almighty. I hope you're having a blessed end of dedication. Now, of course, since we're in the end or at the end of dedication, okay, I had to do something concerning the temple that was dedicated back to the Most High, but bring this lesson to the next level, okay, for all of you to understand what this means when it comes to dedicating ourselves to the Most High and His temple. Okay? So we're going to jump right in. We're already behind the time. So we're going to jump right in, Elder Lawyer, if you will. Let's do a prayer here. And please hit the like button. We're just going to do the Shema for the Sabbath.
Shema Yasha'Allah Ahaya Allahayanawa Ahaya Akkad.
Shema Yasha'Allah Ahaya Allahayanawa Ahaya Akkad.
Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one.
Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one. Blessings, brothers and sisters. I'm Elder Ricard Shiar along with Elder Lawyer for your weekly Sabbath lesson. Okay, Shabbat Shalom. And I hope you all are in great spirits, of course, throughout the four corners of the earth. The Feast of Dedication is ending according to the correct calendar. According to the heavenly calendar that was set up even pre-flood, before the flood. The same calendar that was given to Enoch, that was also shown to the prophets, like Abraham as well as Moses. So there's a reason why we're in the Feast of Dedications, but you don't see Christians following this on this day as a high holy day. I mean, this week. You won't see the Jewish people following it in this week. And you won't see any other religion out there following this during this week. And the reason why, the majority of the earth is off the true calendar, is off the true time. A year is divided into 52 Sabbaths. Okay? And even Moses was told to make sure the children of Israel veer not off of this particular count, or it'll throw off the time and or seasons and prophecies. And I want to emphasize that, right? The prophecies and time concerning us. Okay, so it's ironic we're going into this lesson today. Let's get that where it says in Romans 9:25, they shall think to change times and or laws.
Daniel 9 and 25.
Okay. So I want to tell y'all this, brothers and sisters. I put it this way. Don't be confused or get dissuaded with, how is it that everything the Gathering of Christ Church do when it comes to holy days is so different than everyone else out there? Everyone else is worshiping according to the Judaism or what the Jewish people are doing, even Hebrews. How is it that the doctrine and what the Gathering of Christ Church is bringing forth, why is it so different? And why do we celebrate the same holy days at a different time? Okay, and this is what confuses so many people. Or outside of anything, they would rather just claim that something is wrong, the fact that we're not on what everyone else is on, right? And it seems weird to them. Well, the reason why, folks, is the same reason during Christ's time and the disciples' time. Christ and the disciples were on something different than everyone else. And this is why Christ kept conveying to those who were listening that he's the way, the truth, the life, and no man cometh to the Father but by him. The Sadducees, the Pharisees, the scribes, they were all following so-called Passover at that time, or what they would want to call Passover. But they weren't on the path, right? The same. So we have to get it correctly. We have to get it correct for the world, because why? That world, which is on time, will soon come to this world. And the Most High is adhering his people, and the prophets and teachers have been beseeching their people to get on code with the heavens. Read Job 9 and 20. Daniel 7 and 25. Let's read it.
Daniel 7 and 25.
Daniel 7 verse 25. Read it.
Yes, sir. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws.
Daniel 7 and 25 reads again.
And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and shall think to change times and laws.
And shall think to change times and laws. Now you're going to find out that he is linked directly to the Roman Empire. Okay? It was the Romans who came in and began to make different types of calendars. Okay? The Gregorian, Julian, and all these other calendars, when the Most High's calendar from the beginning was perfect. So it would think to change, they would think to change times and the laws that were originally instituted by our God. So if you follow things according to their calendars, you're going to be off concerning holy days. Now, what they couldn't change is what? The number of days for a week, within a week. So they never changed what they would call Sunday to Monday or Sunday to Sabbath. They didn't have to. They just changed the calendar. So instead of 364 days like it was commanded, given to Moses, 52 weeks according to the book of Jubilees, and that we were not to vary off of that or disturb the times, they started doing stuff like 365 days, leap year, and all this other mess they've been doing, having time determined strictly by the moon without the calculation of it with the sun. And by doing this, they've thrown off the Most High's holy days and Sabbaths and the worships that our forefathers did before Christ, prior to Christ. And we're gonna highlight the culprits who are behind this conspiracy also. So this is why you'll see us following the Feast of Dedication when no one else is doing it, when others aren't actually following it. You will see them doing Hanukkah at an separate, totally separate time and wonder. And you believe that what they're doing is on schedule with Torah. It isn't. Even when you look at the Jewish calendars, all of their months are named after Babylonian deities. The month of Tammuz. Tammuz was what? The virgin child incarnate of Semiramis of Babylon. Okay. So how do we resolve this? And I'm not talking about time today. But I just want brothers and sisters to know, when you see us following these holy days, it's a sign to all of you that the Most High has put his people in the earth back on schedule, back in time, back on time. You got it? And so when the heavens is bringing understanding, we must be connected to that same spirit on these days to receive all the heavens have to actually provide to guide us in this, I would say, perilous time. We must be linked in, Sabbaths, holy days, right on schedule to receive the full force, the full spirit that comes into the earth at those particular times of year. So what do the devil does? The devil try to steal that time by having his holidays close in proximity to that same time period. So instead of doing what? Feast of dedication, Thanksgiving. So they can absorb all that spirit and power that comes from the heaven and intercept that spirit. Why? Because we're not worshiping the God on schedule. So they can take all that reverence of the people and hand that reverence over to their gods. You got that? Over to their gods. So I just wanted to emphasize that, because a lot of these brothers and sisters out there are wondering what are the significance? What is the significance of these holy days? And why, when this church celebrate holy days, it isn't on schedule with Christians, Jewish people, Muslims, or nothing else. We're back on time. 364 days is a calendar year. Period. Period. It doesn't change. And people will look at Esau's calendars and say, well, hold up. If we keep following it this way, wouldn't we be in winter in a few years? No. Because don't forget, Esau does things like daylight savings time to resolve him not doing 364. He does things like leap year. He does all types of stuff because he's not on time. So they try to stay close to seasons, the consistent seasons from one season to the next. So what they'll do is they have a leap year. They'll pull away a day and do all these things instead of doing 364 only. You got that? Just wanted to put that out there. Now, okay, boy, do we have a lesson for you all today. Boy, do we have a lesson. All right. And of course, I'm going to make some announcements, but just hold tight. I'll do the announcements near the end of the broadcast, since we're so behind the time. Hit the like button for me, please, before we go into this particular lesson. Right? As you can see, the title for today: The Desolation of the Chosen People Fully Explained. Now, I was in deep thought, right? Prayer and thought this morning. Deep thought and prayer. And I said, and I was asking in my mind, and my thoughts, I was asking, how can I quantify or convey this truth concerning and context of this title, not just to the scholars and the fervent studiers of the word and those who just love history? Because sometimes, that can actually, you believe it or not, with our attention spans right now, sometimes people don't just have enough attention to just deal with history, right? So I said, okay, how can I quantify this so that not just a scholar, but the regular layman or everyday person can understand the importance of this particular lesson, where everyone, regardless of your level, can understand it and it resonate and hit at the same type of intensity as if a layman was a scholar, or a scholar was a historian, or someone who haven't read the Bible at all. It would resonate on such a level, it would resonate to them so that they can understand it as a scholar would, or a historian would, or a theologian would. I'm like, how can I put together a lesson where it doesn't matter your education, to understand the depths of where we are and what's going on concerning the prophecy for God's people in these end days? And I'm going to show you today what the Most High provided. Some of the information you've heard before, but I wanted to put it within context, a chronological context, so that anyone can understand. Check this out. Check this out. Even someone who don't believe the Bible at all, put it in context to even a non-believer would have to consider the Bible again. Right? 1 second. You see this? Mm-hmm. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. 1 second, because the computer's trying to act out, but I'm not going to allow it to happen. I'm going to work this through. 1 second. Let me see what's going on here. 1 second. One second. If you understand this lesson, you'll see why something is weird going on here with my computer, but it's okay. I'm going to get through it. I'm going to get through it. 1 second. 1 second. Because I really don't want this particular lesson. 1 second. I'm going to tell you, we can't lose the spirit of what I prepared for this lesson. So in case this computer go out, I'm going to save almost over an hour of information to a pad so I can come right back. And even if I have to fight all day to teach this, I will. Okay? So bear with me. Bear with me. All right. I'm saving everything I need to save. And folks, if something happens, hold tight, stay right here. I'll bring it. I'll bring it regardless. Even if I got to do it through a different channel. One second. One second, bear with me. Hit the like button. You don't want to miss this. You don't want to miss this. Bear with me. All right. All right. You save that. Okay. All my information is saved, so if this computer go down, I'll be able to open it up on a different computer. So let's go. Let's go. All right. And I said, even a novice, someone who never studied the Bible, or even an unbeliever, okay, I asked the Most High to give me some insight on how to teach this lesson, because I believe this lesson is going to be one of the more important lessons we've done today. Okay? And if you don't hear me, hear the words of the Almighty and reconsider how you view the Bible after this lesson. Okay? Right now, let's start right now. Right now, what are we seeing? What's on the news? When it's we went from the Ukraine war to the state of Israel, Palestinian war, right? And that's why I'm naming this the desolation of the desolation of the chosen people fully examined, right? The desolation of the chosen people fully examined, right? And let's start from when we ourselves, Elder Lawyer and I, and even you, had no idea who we were as Christians, right? We believed in Christ. We believed in the blood of Christ, right? We praised him every Sunday, right? We had no idea who we were past chattel slavery, outside of being named Africans who were brought over here to serve. We were taught in the Christian church that we were under the cursed seed of Ham by the majority of the theologians and when it comes to the theology of Christianity, that we were the cursed seed of Ham, right? We were totally ignorant to who we were. We were also taught in the Christian church, right? Let me move this out of the way. Let me pull this up. We was also taught in the Christian church that the people on the screen here were the chosen people of God. We were told that these particular people were from the stock of the prophets. That when we think of Jesus, these are the people Jesus came through. We were taught that Moses, the prophets of the Old Testament, the women of the Old Testament, Esther, Judith, you name it, Ruth, we were told that they were all Jewish. We had no issue with it. As long as Christ accepts our people as Gentiles, we could care less who the real people of Israel or the bloodline of people were. A very simplistic understanding was given us. Right? Very simplistic. We're not the chosen people. We're Hamitic. And these people on the screen are the chosen people. But then I did some research and I realized that Jewish people religiously aren't the only people who worship at this particular wall. I did some history on this wall. Okay? We've talked about this wall in the academy. Right? We talked about this wall. And I'm going to give you the history on this in a moment. But it was a very simplistic understanding of who they were and who we are as black people. Right? So I'm not here to argue that. Right? Right? I'm not here to argue that. I'm going to lay down the facts according to the Bible. And what we were also told, so to support the people who are European Jewish people who are restored in as they stated, a restoration of their people in 1948, we were told because they were attached to the holy people of the Bible, as Christians, we were to support their war to regain the Holy Land. So that there's a conflict over in the Middle East, automatically our people were to what? Were to support one side against the other. Due to what? Due to their connection to our holy book. Right? We will support whatever they're dealing with. So, under that simplistic narrative, automatically any war that happens over there religiously, we as Christians who follow the Bible would have to take a side, and our side would automatically be the people connected to the book we trust. And we supported all the wars and all that over there under that theology, under that belief, and believing that these were the people and that we as black people in America or North American Indians or Hispanics, or whatever the case is, that we were Gentiles. We supported the so-called, what they're over there, because they taught us that they're the people and we're the Gentiles. Right? And for some reason, we started to believe that in order for our Messiah to come to save us, even as Gentiles, prophetically, there was a doctrine that they must be restored in that land before Christ returns. It was instilled within the Western Christian doctrine. So by default, even if we don't agree with them politically, we still should support them because prophetically they're bringing forth a prophecy that leads to Christ saving us, right? That's what we were taught. So politically, we didn't care about it. Listen, we support these people. They're God's people. They've delivered us the word. Christ came from them. We'll support them regardless of what they do politically, understanding that they're God's people. Very simple. And see, this is why I wanted to break this down from a simplistic standpoint. Because that alone, if we believe that and it isn't absolutely the way they're claiming, I need y'all to think about this. It leaves us willfully ignorant to only receive one narrative. A narrative that's really on the same line of accepting Christopher Columbus discovered America. See? There's nothing to see here. But when I dig into this, and it's going to get good. The restoration of God's people is much more complex on one level and much more epic than the production in religion we have received. Bear with me here. From Genesis to Revelations, what are they doing at the wall? What are these people, regardless of their race, doing in Jerusalem? How is it that we have been scattered and are suffering throughout the earth while other people are staking claim to a holy land? Is the holy war over there? Or have we been really, folks, destroyed under a holy war since the fall of our homeland? We're looking over there for a holy war. Is a holy war getting executed against us on a daily basis? Well, you'll never understand if you don't know about the desolation. Elder Lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Let's now go to here. Let's now go to Romans 9 and 24. Let's go to the prophets. Stick with me now. Go to Daniel. Let's go to the book of Daniel, 9 verse 24. Hold on. 9 verse 24, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Hold on, let me get it here. Daniel's 9. Roman must be on the mind because I'm dealing with these Romans today. Daniel 9 verse 24, the prophet. Now, mind you, folks, Daniel was shown 4 separate empires our people would go through. Empires that would rule over the children of Israel, the true people according to bloodline, not religion. 4 different empires until the promised Messiah comes to restore the children of Israel back into prominence. Right? According to a prophecy. Hit the like button. Here we go. Daniel 9, verse 24.
Yes, sir. Daniel 9 and 24. 70 weeks are determined upon thy people and upon thy holy city, to finish the transgression and to make an end of sins and to make reconciliation for iniquity and to bring in everlasting righteousness and to seal up the vision and prophecy, and to anoint the most holy.
And to anoint the most holy. Right? So the angel is breaking down to Daniel a prophecy. When you read up, Daniel was shown something, and now the angel is giving understanding to it. Right? That 70 weeks are determined upon thy people. Now that's a time span. So the Most High, through this angel, is giving Daniel an insight on how long Israel would have to suffer. And he's also letting them know that a Savior is prophesied within that time. Why? Why? Well, they've always given the prophets insight for the future of the holy people. Now, this is not speaking of people who've converted to a religion. This is not speaking of someone who identifies with something or who and are not those people. This is speaking of the actual 12 tribes of Israel who came through the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, the physical 12 tribes of Israel. It has nothing to do with your religion. Let's get religion off the table. It was told Daniel, who's an Israelite, that what? That 70 weeks were determined, read.
Upon thy people and upon thy holy city to finish the transgression.
To finish the transgression.
And to make an end of sins, and to make reconciliation for iniquity, and to bring in everlasting righteousness, and to seal up the vision and prophecy, and to anoint the most holy.
And to anoint the most holy. So the prophets were given insight to a what? A Savior who would come within this time. Who was prophesied to what? To be sacrificed and to take that blood to the Holy of Holies. And through that action, follow me. Eventually, the holy people would have a reconciliation. They would be reconciled to the God who cursed them. And the Israelites were cursed for disobedience. I'm going to show you. Right? So when it says 70 weeks are determined, many Christians and all that been trying to break it down and look at the temple and look at the time span of 70 weeks and trying to break down what a generation is. Many theories out there. But folks, the Most High told Daniel, seal it up, seal the book until the time of the end. So there's many theories of Christian theologians trying to break that down, and it's quite simple. When it says 70 weeks are determined, it's speaking of, in a nutshell, 70 jubilees. The era of the so-called Christian theologians and historians, they're strictly just looking at history alone. Okay? They don't know where to go to begin this count of 70. But I'm going to show you today. When it says 70 weeks are determined, Elder Lawyer, let's go to Genesis 6, verse 1. I'm going to make it simple for you all to understand this. 70 weeks are determined. Elder Lawyer, I need you to go to Genesis 6, verse 1. Let's read.
Yes, sir. Genesis 6 and 1.
Read.
And it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose.
Come on.
And the Lord said...
Now this was before the flood. Angels came down and dealt with the daughters of Cain. That's what happened. And they brought forth a new genetic line in the earth called Nephilim. Read.
And the Lord said, My spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he is also flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years.
His days shall be 120 years. Now, a lot of people look at this and think it's talking about the lifespan of a person. No, it's talking about the judgment that happened. This is a judgment relating directly to the sin that happened from Adam, which led to this sin here. And there's 120 jubilees determined. See, the Bible is manifold. 120 jubilees are determined. Understand that. So what is this breaking down when it says 70? 70 weeks are determined. Well, when you break it down, we have what? We have 50 days or jubilees between the sin of Adam and what? The giving of the law. That's 25 what? 2,500 years. Right? And then that's 50 jubilees. Right? That would leave what? That would leave what? That would leave 70 from the time God would give Moses the law and the consummation, when Israel would actually be restored back into the land by the Messiah. See that? You got what? 50 jubilees from Adam to Moses. 35 jubilees, 1,750 years. From what? From Moses to Christ's birth. And another 35 jubilees, 1,750 years from Christ's birth to the restoration, where he would restore the people. So many theologians are going off because they're just counting the time periods according to regular earth days and not realizing that the message of this consummation was given to Daniel from the heavens. So you just can't calculate this according to the history within the earth. It was speaking of what? A more broader understanding of the restoration of Israel. So that 70 it's speaking of is going back to when Moses was given the law. And there will be 70 jubilees before what? The world is judged by that same law given to Moses. But there's a lot of things that must happen in the earth between those two time periods. Are y'all following me here? Now, Elder Lawyer, let's go back to the book of Daniel. Back to Daniel 9. Where it says 70 weeks are determined.
Yes, sir. The book of Daniel, chapter 9, verse number 24. 70 weeks are determined upon thy holy people and upon thy holy city to finish the transgression and to make an end of sins and to make reconciliation for iniquity and to bring in everlasting righteousness and to seal up the vision and prophecy and to anoint the most holy.
And to anoint the most holy. A lot of people out there believe that what happened in 1948 with Europeans going into Israel is a part of this prophecy. But is it? Well, let's see. Because we understand there must be a desolation of God's people. And that desolation happened a long time ago. It happened before there was any such man born in the earth by the name of Hitler. Okay? So we have to go into the desolation to understand Who's the Most High speaking to Daniel about here? The people who would need a savior. Let's read it.
25. Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah the Prince shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. The street shall be built again, and the wall, even in troublous times.
And we know that it was built in troublous times. Dedication, right? Right? Now, originally, the Persians began to help us with it, but then it was destroyed again by who? A Greek by the name of Antiochus Epiphanes, and under the Maccabees during the Hasmonean dynasty, 2nd century, it was cleaned up once again, until it was destroyed at the death of Christ, where the Most High did what? He broke the temple in two. Go to last week's lesson to understand why the Romans and others wanted access and power over that temple. Right? Read on.
Yes, sir.
26.
Verse 26. And after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off.
The Messiah was cut off. He was killed.
But not for himself.
But not for himself. So I need y'all to understand this. What happened to Christ isn't a New Testament creation. You got so many people who's following Torah claiming that there is no prophecy of a man dying for the sins of the nation. When this is prophesying Christ being cut off, dying for people. So if it's prophesied in the book of Daniel, brothers and sisters, we must ask, if he died for his people, why would there be a religion where the people we were taught were the people? Why would they reject this Messiah? If you're the people, shouldn't you embrace a man who would die for you? It's in your Torah, it's in your Tanakh, that the Messiah would come and he would be cut off, but not for himself. Does that sound familiar? Because we have so many people out there claiming that Christ's life and death was a modern day creation or a Roman creation, a white man's creation. So shouldn't they embrace the Messiah if in the prophets it say that this man would do something for you? Right? Now let's go back. I know I would embrace him. We thought we were Gentiles and still embraced him. You told us that we weren't the people and we still embraced him. So why would you reject him? Huh? After 62 weeks shall the Messiah be cut off. Read.
But not for himself.
But not for himself.
And the people of the prince shall come and shall destroy the city and the sanctuary.
And it was prophesied that the people of what? The prince, right? What prince? The prince of darkness. The people of the prince of darkness, who are led under the angel Samael, Satan himself, shall come and destroy the city and the sanctuary. Who destroyed the city and sanctuary? The Romans destroyed the city and the sanctuary. Now let's pause right here. If the Romans destroyed Jerusalem, and you're the people of Jerusalem, who should the war be against? Should it be against the people in the Middle East? Interesting, isn't it? You would think that the people who were destroyed by the Romans would have a bone to pick with the Romans. Where's the war against Rome, who destroyed Jerusalem. But I'm not going to put the cart before the horse. I just want, these are the things that Arsenio says makes you go, right? Back in the day. Because if I've learned anything, politically we're hearing in America, never again. What the Nazis did, what they did against, it was horrendous. But when we look at what happened to the Israelites and Jews in Jerusalem, what happened in our current time pales in comparison to the carnage that was executed against the children of Israel in Judea. And I need y'all to think about that for a second. Never forget, right? Well, if it's never forget, how is it when you get power? Billions of dollars for missiles and everything else, right? To execute war against those who oppose you. Wouldn't you think to now look back at those who destroyed you in Jerusalem? Why aren't you thinking about that? Is it because possibly? Is it possibly? Could it be that you're from Rome? I don't know. We're going to play both sides today. We're going to look at both sides. All right? Let's read it.
Yes, sir. The rest of verse 26. The people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be with a flood, and unto the end of the war, desolations are determined.
Desolations are determined. So that means once the city of Jerusalem is destroyed, there shall be a flood. I'm going to talk about that flood. It's not talking of water. And unto the end of the war of desolations are determined, which means after that desolation, 70 AD, the children of Israel would be suffering desolation after desolation after desolation after desolation. They'll be targeted by the same people who destroyed the temple in 70 AD, who destroyed our people or the children of Israel. Let me not put the cart before the horse, because right now, according to what they taught me in Christianity, I'm a Gentile. Okay? We're going to see if the Bible set the record straight and point to who's who. After the destruction of 70 AD, right? It tell you that there won't be just one desolation, desolation after desolation after desolation. Right? Read on.
27. And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week, and in the midst of the week he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease.
He shall cause the sacrifice and oblation to cease. That means there will be no place for the children of Israel who once had Jerusalem. There'll be no place to do their sacrifices. It'll be taken away. If they want to serve a sacrifice, they would have to do it what? By going through the Gentile nations who have set up their pagan temples. Right? They wouldn't have a place of worship for their own outside of what the Gentiles have established for them. Temples, churches. So that'll be taken away from the people. Right? Go on.
And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week, and in the midst of the week he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease, and for the overspreading of abominations he shall make it desolate.
He shall make it desolate, which means that homeland that was once inhabited by the chosen people according to bloodline, not religion. It will be made desolate. That means what? The true children of Israel will no longer have control over their own land until Until when?
Even until the consummation.
Even until the consummation. That means even until that last 35 Jubilees, 1,750 heavenly years is completed. See? The consummation is what? You got 120 days or Jubilees from the time of Adam's sin. Right? Then it will be broken down from Adam's sin to the Most High giving Moses the law that we would utilize to cleanse that sin. A law of civility that the world must learn through the Israelites. The same law that one day the Most High will judge the world with. Right? And then another 35 Jubilees. Here's your 70. From Moses to the birth of Christ. And another 35 from Christ's birth through his death. All the way to what? The consummation. And that's when the restoration begins. It doesn't begin before the Messiah returns. So who's the people suffering desolations up until the time the Messiah returns? Well, now check this out. Suppose it's the same people who the world taught, who the Roman Catholic Church taught were Gentiles. Now there's an understanding to why it seemed as if our destruction as a people is systematic. It doesn't matter how high we grow within any empire. Folks, we were famous in every empire. Nothing can stop us from our fame. They cannot steal our shine. But there's always a glass ceiling. There's always, but so far you could go. And a lot of us never understood it. We never understood it. Anytime we get beyond or get close to that glass ceiling, desolation. 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 Start from scratch again. Are y'all following me here? So we got 50 Jubilees between Adam and Moses, the law. Right? That's 2,500 years. Then we have what? 35 Jubilees between the law and Christ, the prophet that was shown to the prophets, Christ, his birth. From Moses, the giving of the law, and what? Christ coming in 35 Jubilees later, 1,750 heavenly years later, according to the correct calendar. That's 35. And another 35 from Christ's birth until he returns, the Messiah. So then we have to ask, what is this restoring of Israel we're hearing in the Christian church today in the Western world? Claiming that what's going on in the Middle East is prophetic concerning God's people. The math isn't mathing. The math isn't mathing. So let's go to Revelation real quick. Revelation 12 and 12.
Yes, sir. Revelation 12, verse number 12.
Okay. All right. So we go into the book of Revelation. Now, why are we going here, folks? Well, John was placed on the Isle of Patmos for delivering the true gospel, which was a threat to pagan Rome. Okay? They didn't want to kill John because they seen what happened the last time they made a man a martyr. The more they killed those who were bringing forth the true gospel, the more pagans began to convert. And through those conversions, it was what? Disrupting the Roman government and their citizenry. It was causing a disruption, folks, within the political landscape of Rome. So they say, okay, we can't kill John, because if we kill him, more people are going to side with these Israelites. Let's put him on an island. Right? Let's put him on an island. So let's see what the Most High showed John on the Isle of Patmos. Let's go to Revelation 19, Elder Lawyer. And no, Revelation 12. Let's go to 12 first. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Let's go to Revelation 12. And let's read here the 12th verse.
Yes, sir. Revelation 12, verse 12.
Oh, before you go there.
Mm-hmm.
Revelation 9 and 12.
Revelation 9 and 12.
That's where I want to go. Revelation 9, verse 12. Let's read it.
Yes, sir. Revelation 9 and 12. One woe is past.
One woe is past.
And behold, there come two woes more hereafter.
There come two woes more thereafter. Now we have people in modern day Christianity erroneously teaching this particular verse. What they're saying in modern day Western American theology is that this is speaking of World War I, World War II, and World War III. See? And by teaching that, we can relate our current what? Our current events to try to claim it's prophetic. Especially when pointing to the wars that lead to a people receiving the Holy Land. Follow me here. So this is the Christians are teaching, this is speaking about World War I, World War II, and World War III. But is that true? Well, let's see. John was on the Isle of Patmos. He was what? He was a disciple of Christ. So this is speaking of him being shown future prophecy in its present time. See? So you're talking about mid first century right here. This is mid first century. You're talking about around what? Around somewhere around, if you want to round it off, around 45, 50 AD. Rounding it off. This is 50 AD. Rounding it off. And it says what?
One woe is past.
So during what? During the time of the disciples, it was shown that one woe already passed. So we have to find out what was that woe. Speaking of the desolation of God's people. So obviously this was a destruction John, being an Israelite, knew about. This ain't speaking of no prophetic World War I, World War II, World War III. See? If they can hide these woes, now they can create their own prophecy through Hollywood, through events, and have Christians and others justify wars that have nothing to do with prophecy. Not a prophecy that Christ talked about or the disciples talked about. Y'all see this? So during John's time, John was shown on the Isle of Patmos by Christ himself that one woe was past. So we have to go back to that one woe. So let's go back to that one woe if we can. One woe is past. Elder Lawyer, what is the one woe? We're going to go 1, 2, 3, right? Let's go back to 2 Kings. 2 Kings. Second Kings 17. And let's go straight to 17.
Yes, sir. 2 Kings 17, verse 17.
Read. Matter of fact, let's start at the 16th verse. This is speaking of the northern kingdom. After the sin of Solomon, the kingdom was split in two. Ephraim became king over the northern kingdom. That's right. Jeroboam. And Rehoboam became king over the land of the Jews, or Judea. Judah, Benjamin, Levi. Okay. And these are they who would bring forth in the southern kingdom the Messiah, Christ. Right? Read 16.
2 Kings 17 and 16. And they left all the commandments of the Lord their God, and made them molten images, even 2 calves, and made a grove, and worshipped all the host of heaven, and served Baal.
And served Baal. And serving Baal is also what? Child sacrifice. That's why you'll always hear under these satanic constructs, you'll hear about missing children and all that. Okay. So our people in the northern kingdom began to follow these particular sins: idolatry, witchcraft, sacrifice. And what happened?
And they caused their sons and daughters to pass through the fire, and used divinations and enchantments, and sold themselves to do evil in the sight of the Lord, to provoke him to anger.
Read.
Therefore the Lord was very angry with Israel, and removed them out of his sight. There was none left but the tribe of Judah only.
There was none left but the tribe of Judah. But we know Benjamin and Levi came into what? The southern kingdom. Right? So when you remove Israel out of the land, that becomes what? A woe or a desolation. So because of these sins, the Most High sent the king of Assyria against the northern kingdom and began to disperse the 10 tribes, Ephraim at the helm, off of the land. One woe is past. So who did they put in the land instead of our people? Let's go down.
Yes, sir. Verse 24.
24, read.
And the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon, and from Cuthah, and from Avad, and from Hamath, and from Sepharvaim, and placed them in the cities of Samaria instead of the children of Israel.
Instead of who?
Instead of the children of Israel.
Instead of the children of Israel. So there was a mass conversion. Gentiles coming in who one day would think they're the people. And this was before the Idumean conversion. Instead of the what? The bloodline people of Israel. See that? Read.
And they possessed Samaria and dwelt in the cities thereof.
So what happened? Gentiles began to overrun the northern kingdom. This is why when Christ came on the scene speaking to the Samaritan woman, he says, you worship you know not what, for salvation is of the Jews. John 4. And it's going to come a day you or your people are not going to be worshiping in this mountain. Because the real people will be here one day. The people who've been scattered since 721 BC. And let me give you some insight, since we like to talk about discussions. When you hear the word Holocaust, Holocaust comes from a Hebrew word which means burnt sacrifice. So we need to talk about the destruction of the people who was taken out of the land. Right? 2nd Ezra 13 and 39 real quick, Elder Lawyer. Let's read that. 2nd Ezra 13 and 39 tells us what happened to those people. One woe is past.
2 Ezra 13, verse 39.
A matter of fact, Elder Lawyer, let me get it so they can see it, because I want to make sure this is all laid out and referenced, so that no one can think I'm making this up. It's from my own idea, right? Let's get it. 2 Ezra 13, verse 39. Let's read it.
Yes, sir. 2 Ezra 13 to 39. And whereas thou sawest that he gathered another peaceable multitude unto him, those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land.
So what Ezra was seeing here, brothers and sisters, is what? Ezra was seeing the future of when that Messiah would come at the end of the consummation. Right? And he's seen a vision and showing the 10 tribes who were taken out of the land. Those were the 10 tribes which are carried away prisoner out of their own land.
In the time of Hosea the king, whom Salmanassar the king of Assyria led away captive.
Read.
And he carried them over the waters, and so they came into another land.
He carried them over the waters, so came they into a new land. So the 10 tribes began to inhabit areas that weren't discovered at that time. I'm going to use the terms or the words you can understand. Right? So obviously the Messiah would come for those same people who disobeyed once their children began to repent and come back under the covenant. Right? Now let me show you this. Those were the 10 tribes that were scattered abroad, and they went into a land where never mankind dwelt. Right? Right? Matter of fact, go to the 43rd verse.
43. And they entered into the Euphrates by the narrow passages of the river, for the Most High then showed signs for them and held still the flood till they were passed over.
Read.
For through that country there was a great way to go, namely, of a year and a half, and the same region is called Arsareth.
And that same region was called Azareth. This is the uninhabited land that drifted west. So all the lands where Ham, Shem, and Japheth weren't settled, the 10 tribes began to leave Assyria and settle in these areas, including America. Now this is 718 BC we're talking about. Almost over 700 years before Christ. Right? Almost 700 some odd years before Christ would come on the scene. Right? Now, let's see, well before the 1900s, the desolations our people suffered. I'm just going to point out a few. Because when we hear about genocide, it seems like there's a monopoly on media in Hollywood, not to actually a monopoly on who really suffered throughout time as God's people. It seems as if when we hear anything about a suffering of a people, they're teaching modern history. And no one is talking about the desolations written of in the Bible. Right? Puerto Rico, Genocide Studies Program. Yale University, folks. Usually when I go into stuff like this, I try to break it down in the academy with research purpose, reference papers, cite and sources. But I wanted to break this down from the scholar to the layman. So, Genocide Study Program in Yale University. And one of their studies, and no one is talking about this, is the colonial genocide from the range of 1509 to 1552, when Rome sent the conquistadors over here into the Americas. The Balikwa Taino from the tribe of Ephraim. It was their king over Israel, over the northern kingdom. Puerto Rico is one of the world's oldest colonies, having been under some form of military occupation or protectorate status since 1508. On On November 19, 1493, during this second voyage, Christopher Columbus arrived in Puerto Rico. The indigenous Taino culture dominated the island. Now, I got proof and history proof of, even though Christopher Columbus was Spaniard, he was also Jewish. Okay, and I have the history on that. The indigenous Taino culture dominated the island. The Taino called the island Bloquin, Spanish Boliquin, the land of the brave Lord. Columbus named the island San Juan Bautista in honor of St. John the Baptist, based on the archaeological remains of pre-Columbian people. The Puerto Rican archaeologist Don Ricardo Herrero calculates that at most, the island had 30,000 inhabitants circa 1508. Right? But when you go down further, it talks about what? When the conquistadors came, folks, they slaughtered, folks. In Puerto Rico, Yale University has this information. 500,000 man-child were killed in the slaughter. 500,000. 500,000 man-child, when you go into this full paper and research, were killed in the slaughter. Okay? When you go into it, throughout history, and I think there's a book on this called what? What is it called? The Spanish Holocaust, or?
I think it's American Holocaust.
The American Holocaust highlights this massacre that was even studied in Yale. By the time the conquistadors came over in 1400, they broke Puerto Rico down to about 30,000 people. But where's the war? Where's the calculation? Where's the movies? When it comes to these people who the Most High said would come over. Where's the movies? When Native Americans were slaughtered in the name of civilization. History Channel. By the close of the Indian Wars in the late 19th century, fewer than 238,000 indigenous people remained of the estimated 5 million plus living in North America before European contact. Where's the movie? Where's the production? Where is the movie? We're waiting. Right? And there's more. There is more. Colonial period 1788 to 1901. British settlement of Australia began as penal colony governed by captain of Royal Navy until the 1850s, when local forces began to be recruited. British regular troops garrisoned the colonies with little local assistance. Folks, it's talking about what? The attacks of when they sent ships to destroy the tribe of Reuben in Australia. The British did this. Sent by Imperial Rome. And New Zealand. Look at this. Here's a British flag. Where you at? Where the movie? Where is the movie? We're waiting for it. You had European volunteers, 2,500 volunteers who came through from Europe to begin to slaughter these people who were worshiping their God separately. separately from what? From the land they moved from thousands of years prior. Now, before I go into the second woe, 721 BC was the first woe, according to prophecy that Daniel, the prophets, and even John knew about on the Isle of Patmos. It had nothing to do with your World War I, World War II, World War III, the productions we see in the earth today. This is them creating prophecy so that what? So that the world through a religious eye would think that there's some level of justification for what we see in war today, while ignoring the wars continually against the children of God. See? We're going to break this down, folks. We're going to break it down. One woe is past. Well, let's put a date on that war. 721 BC. When the king Hosea came against our people, okay, who end up selling to North America and different parts of the world, only before Imperial Rome began to find them, only to kill and enslave them. One woe is past. North American Indians slaughtered, Colombians, Mexicans slaughtered. Where's the movie? One woe is past. But wait till you see what I have for you. We'll be right back. One moment. One woe is past. Boy, do I got some good stuff for you. And we may go a little bit, but just bear with me. Bear with me. We'll be right back with part 2.
I was lost, but now I'm found. I'm a child of Israel. I heard the sound. Please give me the strength to stand today. With my eyes towards the east, show me the way. Guide my path, show me the way to Zion. I opened up the book and see that the apple of your eye included me. And through the tribulation, I know I must stand. For a new heaven, a new earth, show me the way to Zion. I'm on my knees, laying my life on the line. I'm begging, please, please don't let me fall. Give me the strength. Place my feet, guide my
All right, all right, all right. Are y'all still with me? Are y'all still with me? It's about to happen. Right? Are y'all still with me? Part 2. Let's do it. All right. Hit the like button. It's about to get real good up in here. Right? So let's go back to Revelation. Let's go back to Revelation 9 and 12 real quick. All right. Let's go back to Revelation 9 verse 12. So jumping right in, going back to Revelation, John is on the Isle of Patmos now. Right? John is on the Isle of Patmos, and Christ has showed him that one destruction is past. What year was that? 721 BC against the original people, not those who were Israelites according to some religion. Okay? These are the bloodline people of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, direct descendants of the 12 tribes of Israel. Right? So one woe is past. They're over here in the new world or whatever the case is, while Christ were delivering the gospel to the disciples. The same gospel that would one day gather their brethren who was afar off in these lands scattered before the Romans began to do what? Colonize in the new world. You got that? So we're still speaking of around 50 BC, 50 AD here, when John was given this revelation. One woe is past, and then he said what? And behold, there come 2 woes more hereafter. So now we're looking at 2 more destructions, right? We're looking at here, follow me, we're looking at 2 more destructions of the original people, of the people through bloodline, not religion. 2 more destructions before the promise, before these people are restored as God's people. Are y'all following me here? Right? So this has nothing to do with World War I, World War II, or World War III, or any production they've made in our modern time to have us believe that these wars they're executing in the earth are prophetic, as them being some people, according to some religious view. Okay? Now, right? All right, Elder Lawyer, you with me?
Yes, sir.
All right, all right, all right. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I already started up.
Yes, sir.
I'm chopping at the bit. Now let's, Elder Lawyer, let's go to the book of Judith real quick.
Yes, sir.
The book of Judith. Now, in particular, I'm going to go to the one in the Septuagint, right? We're going to the book of Judith, right? The Septuagint is the Bible. It's the Old Testament that predates the King James Version Old Testament, translated directly out of the Greek text, okay? One of the first translations of our Bible into the Greek language, all right? Let's go to the book of Judith. You get there? Mm-hmm. And let's read the 8th verse. 8th verse 17.
The book of Judith, chapter 8, verse number 17.
Read.
Therefore let us wait for salvation of him, and therefore let us wait upon salvation of him, and call upon him to help us, and he will hear our voice if it please him.
And it says, therefore, Judith, an Israelite, a sister says, therefore let us wait for our salvation. The salvation of him. That's Yeshua. And call upon him to help us, and he will hear our voice. Read.
If it please him.
If it please him. Read.
18. For there arose none in our age, neither is there any now in these days, neither tribe, nor family, nor people, nor city among us, which worship gods made with hands, as have been done, as hath been aforetime.
Read.
For the which cause our fathers were given to the sword.
For this cause, because our people began to worship the idols of the nations, and began to sacrifice our children as the nations do. Read.
For the which cause our fathers were given to the sword, and for a spoil, and had a great fall before our enemies.
And had a great fall before our enemies. Read.
But we know none other God, therefore we trust that he will not despise us, nor any of our nation.
Read.
For if we be taken so, all Judea shall lie in waste, and our sanctuary shall be spoiled, and he will require the profanation thereof at our mouth.
So what would happen if we do what the 10 tribes did? Eventually, not we, but the Israelites in Judea, let me put it that way, what we just witnessed that happened to the 10 tribes would eventually happen to Judea, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. So we were being warned. You see, the other ones was taken out of the land of Samaria. Our brothers, we don't know where they are right now. If we do as they did, eventually that will happen to the 3 tribes left, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Read.
And the slaughter of our brethren, and the captivity of the country, and the desolation of our inheritance.
So what would happen to the Israelites according to the book of Judith?
And the slaughter of our brethren.
The brothers will be slaughtered like I showed you. Read.
And the captivity of the country.
The people would go into captivity. We know that history.
And the desolation of our inheritance.
And the desolation of our inheritance. Our children will forget that they were actually the people of Israel. Not only will they destroy and take our homeland, they will re-educate the children to not even know that that inheritance that everyone is fighting over belongs to the lost tribes of Israel. Read.
And the slaughter of our brethren, and the captivity of the country, and the desolation of our inheritance will he turn upon our heads among the Gentiles.
Read.
Wheresoever he shall be in bondage, and we shall be an offense and a reproach to all them that possess us.
And it says Judith warned Israelites that their children will be an offense and a reproach to all them that possess us. That means the people who enslave us would hate us and would treat Israelites as such. So when the Bible says one woe has come and one woe is past, let's go to that second woe in a moment. But before we go there, something happened when the 10 tribes were taken out of the land. Last week I went over the dedication by the Maccabean brothers during the Hasmonean dynasty, right? Yes? Well, something happened. There was a conversion of Edomites, of Idumea. Right? There was a conversion of Idumeans. A matter of fact, Elder Lawyer, do we have a Josephus around here?
I have one if you need it.
No, I have one right here. One moment. I'm going to get the actual book here. Huh? 1 second. I have one somewhere. Josephus. There it is right here. Here we go. Let's get the conversion of the Edomites, the Idumeans, who converted into Judaism. Right? Let's get that out of the Josephus.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what I do is, of course, we have the information, the sources, so that they can't claim this is our opinion or this is some religious theory. I have white papers. Vida el Plancero. Idumean and Idumeans in Josephus' story of Hellenistic early Roman Palestine. Because we're talking about the Palestinians and what's going on in the Middle East. Well, you don't understand that if you don't understand history, right? Other things went on in that land well before our current time, right? There was a mass conversion of Edomites who would be considered modern day white people or European who converted into a religion of Judaism. Before this time, there was no such religion as we see today. Being an Israelite and following the laws wasn't a religion. It was a way of life for us. Okay? Now, when you go into this, it breaks down what? Idumea and the Idumeans, which another name, a Greek word for Edomites, in Josephus' story of Hellenistic early Roman Palestine and an antiquity of the Jews, the 12th chapter. You got it? Mm-hmm. Right? And it says right here, this paper offers the first of ever comprehensive philological and historical commentary on Josephus' reference to Idumea and antiquities of the Jews. That still remains a source of knowledge on Hellenistic and early Roman Idumea. Josephus' version of the beginnings of the Maccabean Idumean hostilities, that means there was hostilities between the Edomites and the Israelites, who were still in Judea, as well as his account of the Hasmonean final conquest of the Edomites, Idumeans, stresses the political and military aspects of this conflict, right? Now, in particular, I got the white papers because why? This is being taught even in some synagogues, this white paper. I've done the research. And amongst those who study in modern day Christianity from the theological side of things. That this is history. But I wanted to bring up this in particular because why? That's right, folks. There's archaeological proof that this actually happened. Here's the white paper. So he wanted to go back with this information to find out if there's any historical artifacts and others to prove that that conversion of Edomites actually happened. Are y'all follow me? Are y'all follow me here? Right? So when you go through here, it talks about what? Let me get it. Hasmonean conquest of Idumea. And it says what? The capture of Marissa, of the conversion of the Idumeans, we have parallel literary and archaeological material. So this is no one's opinion here. They have archaeological proof this conversion happened. Marissa is located in the modern Judea, Shephelah, 40 kilometers southwest of Jerusalem, and 35 kilometers east of Ascalon. At the site of the Iron Age city settlement, Marissa, it was archaeologically excavated in 1900 by the British archaeologists Bliss and McAllister. In 1905, Peters and Tharish, as well as 1989 and 2000 by Israeli archaeologists under a most cloner. Both archaeological and historical data make it clear that Hellenistic Marissa was the main city of Western Idumea. I'm citing their historians, their archaeologists, that says that there was a mass, what? Edomite conversion into Judaism. So at the same time, the 10 tribes are scattered throughout the earth, other people are now taking on the religion of Judaism. There's a difference between being through the bloodline of the 12 tribes of Israel and one who would convert to a religion. And that's where most people are confused. In the Christian church, we weren't taught that there was people that looked like Romans converted into Judaism. We were told that we are Gentiles and they are the lost tribes of Israel. But I'm bringing the facts to you today. Elder Lawyer, read it.
Yes, sir. Antiquities of the Jews, book 13, chapter 9, verse 257.
Come on.
Hyrcanus took also Dora and Marissa, cities of Idumea, and subdued all the Idumeans, and permitted them to stay in that country, if they would circumcise their genitals and make use of the laws of the Jews. And they were so desirous of living in the country of their forefathers that they submitted to the use of circumcision.
So because they were Edomites and still wanted to live in the land of their forefathers, because Isaac is the father of Esau, read.
They were so desirous of living in the country of their forefathers that they submitted to the use of circumcision and the rest of the Jewish ways of living, at which time, therefore, this befell them, that they were hereafter no other than Jews.
They were hereafter no other than Jews. Okay? That's where you get the European Jewry from, according to history. Not my opinion, not your opinion. Josephus recorded the fall of Jerusalem, that second wall. This is history here. Now, what happens if a people go into captivity and aren't taught that they're from the lost tribes of Israel, only to see other people practicing what their families, to some degree, practiced traditionally in the past? You'll begin to think, well, hold up, these are not my foreparents' traditions they're following. They're the actual people. Especially if what? The Romans began to teach a false theology that black people in America are from the tribes of Ham. So they had us looking in an entirely different family. They had us looking amongst Hamites when the curses of the Israelites fell upon the children of Israel. Are y'all following me here? Now let's talk about the second woe. One woe has passed, and what? Let's go back to the woes of the Lord. Revelation 9.
Yes, sir. Revelation chapter 9 and 12.
Revelation 9, verse 12. Read.
One woe is past.
So the one woe has passed was the woe that the Israelites understood according to history. When the kingdom was split and the 10 tribes were taken out of the land, right? And only Judah, Benjamin, and Levi was still there. Through that tribe of Judah, Christ would be born to fulfill the prophecy, to die as it was written in the book of Daniel, not for himself. And through that death, at the end of the consummation, the 12 tribes would have access to the throne if they repent. See? Not what religion you follow, what's in your veins, what pumps in your heart, your genealogy. This is why they've set up a very sophisticated scientific grid that they can take your blood to find your gene type. It's not, they'll never tell you who you are if you sent 1 billion blood tests into one of these sites, into one of their labs. They'll never tell you who you are. It's a waste of time. Okay? Let me make it clear, folks. That's why they set up a grid of hospitals and all these others around here. So that, because they're looking for a certain gene type that goes back to the 12 tribes. Why? Because it was prophesied that they would look to what? Exterminate the chosen bloodline. That's the desolation the Bible speaks of. The Romans are seeking to do what they couldn't do in 70 AD. So when it says one woe is past, that's serious. Because what? The disciples had the history of the carnage and destruction that happened to the 10 tribes for disobedience. And now it was about to happen again. Right? One woe is past, read.
And behold, there come 2 woes.
There come 2 more woes.
More hereafter.
More hereafter. So it's 2 more big destructions we must look to prophetically and find out who those destructions are aimed against. One was the 10 tribes, 721. What was the second? Elder Lawyer, if you will. Let's go now to Matthew 24, verse 15. This is what Christ spoke about. Here's the second woe now. Matthew 24 and 15. World War I and World War II and World War III are Hollywood productions. It has nothing prophetic in it. So any Israelite out there talking about the 3 world wars before Christ comes and relating it to the wars of the prison industrial complex, the war machine we see by Rome, you got another thing coming. You look at it, they named it World War I, World War II, World War III, so to throw people off in relating what they're doing over there in wars with the Bible and God's people. So that now Christians can look at that and be like, yeah, these wars, they're over there, the temple got to be built. Nah. We've been suffering the woes. Let's go to Matthew 24 and 15. Let's read it.
St. Matthew 24 and 15. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place.
When you shall see the abomination of the desolation spoken by Daniel. I started off with Daniel, where he prophesied the desolation. And that the Messiah would come in the midst of this to be a sacrifice for the people so that they could one day come back to the covenant. So what desolation was he talking about here, Christ? Elder Lawyer, let's go to Luke. Luke 19.
St. Luke chapter 19.
And we're going to, no, Luke 21 and 19. Sorry. Luke 21, verse 19. Read.
St. Luke 21:19.
Read.
And your patience possess ye your souls. And when you shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies.
When you shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies.
Then know that the desolation thereof is nigh.
Know that the desolation is near. The second woe. Know that the desolation, because don't forget, only Judah, Benjamin, and Levi is left in the southern kingdom. And when you shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation is near. Read.
Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains. and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto. For these are the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled.
The warning that Judith gave us, the prophet gave us. Now Christ is telling us it's about to come to pass. I have to be sacrificed first. But after I die, these Edomites will come after you. You're going to lose Jerusalem for a time. You'll be scattered and go into captivity. And in those same lands, I'll find you. I'll find you. Don't seek to Jerusalem. Jerusalem is destroyed. I'll find you. So here's the second woe right here. Now, in history, it's documented in history. What is this? The triumphal parade in Rome of Jewish religion articles, a 7-branch candlestick, a table of showbread, and sacred trumpets, removed after they sacked Jerusalem in 70 CE. See? The art resource, New York. Detail of the release of the Ark of Titus, Rome, 81 CE. Where what? Where the Edomites or the Romans celebrated, these are Europeans, folks, celebrated what? After destroying the temple of Jerusalem, the second wall. The Romans. You can find this same carving in Rome till this day, where the Edomites celebrated the destruction of the chosen people of God. See, but Christ said something else. Christ said that once they sacked this place, what would happen? What would happen? Listen real good, Christians. What would happen once the Romans, Europeans, or Edomites destroyed Jerusalem? Read the 23rd verse.
23. But woe unto them that are with children, and to them that give suck in those days, for there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people.
Read.
And they shall fall by the edge of the sword.
They shall fall by the edge of the Roman sword.
And shall be led away captive into all nations.
And shall be led away captives into all nations. Hold up. What is Christ prophesying here? What is he prophesying? Being led away captive. That means the true people, according to bloodline, have nothing to do with religion, will go into captivity under the hands of their oppressors. Now, have nothing to do with the religion they follow. This is a bloodline prophecy. Read.
And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles.
Hold up. So Jerusalem, the land, would be trodden down, divided, sold, and all that by the non-Israelites. The Gentiles are non-Israelites. Until when?
Until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
So the Israelites will not receive the land again, not the true people, until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Which means, as long as the Gentiles are ruling the earth, the Romans, there's no fulfillment of a restoration to Israel. You can't have two in the same place. As long as the same people who destroyed Jerusalem is ruling the earth, it's called, according to the Bible, the times of the Gentiles, which means those are Gentiles over there in the land, on either side of the conflict. And that's according to what I'm reading prophetically. According to Christ. That as long as these people who destroyed Jerusalem is in place, we're living under what? The times of the Gentiles. And that time haven't been fulfilled yet, because that time would be the consummation that was shown to Daniel. So, led away captive. Deuteronomy 28, Elder Lawyer. Deuteronomy 28. Going back to the prophecies now. Deuteronomy 28 and read 64. If Israel was to disobey God. 64, read it.
Deuteronomy 28 and 64.
Come on.
And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
Wood is your cross, which is false Christianity, and stone is your rock in Mecca. They have aimed these religions specifically against us to keep us under Gentile oppression. Let's go down to the 68th verse.
68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Egypt, Exodus 13 and 3 let us know that Egypt means bondage, the house of bondage. The Most High would take you into bondage, read, again with what?
With ships.
With ships.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
You will not see your homeland again. This will be your last captivity. See? Only what? Only the Messiah can lead the children of Israel back into the land. According to the prophecy, after the fall of Jerusalem, we wouldn't rule our homeland again. So what's going on right now in the earth? Over there. Wake up, folks. I got something else for you. Read.
Thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen.
So the Israelites in Judah, Benjamin, and Levi would be sold to their enemies for a slave man and a slave woman. Sold to Mr. Jefferson in Philadelphia. Sold to Mr. Rosenberg down up in New York. Sold to Mr. Smith in Virginia. See? Is it all coming together for you now? Now let me show you this. Sold unto your what? Sold unto your enemy. Sold unto your enemy. Now, these prophecies only pertain to the lost tribes of Israel who were taken from Jerusalem. Right? Now, look at this here. A slave auction in Virginia. Now, I wonder what people are the Israelites here, according to that prophecy of Deuteronomy. The people here, the family here being sold, or the ones selling the slaves? I wonder, who are the people according to the prophecy that Christ brought forth? These people or these people? And then I got to hold this for later. But let's talk about something else. There was one conversion of Edomites during the time of Hyrcanus in the mid-2nd century. But then later, there was more conversions of Romans and Edomites into the religion called Judaism today. There's a guy by the name of Onkelos, the convert. Now, well after the time of Christ and the disciples, and after we lost Jerusalem, you had Edomites coming into a new religion of Judaism for the Roman Empire. Okay. Uncleus and the issue of translating the Torah. Well, who was Uncleus? Well, let's see. Now, Uncleus is a what? He's a respected rabbi within the religion of Judaism. Uncleus, the convert, was the Roman Empress Hadrian's sister's son. He desired to convert to Judaism, but he feared his uncle's wrath. He told his uncle, I want to engage in business. Look at this, folks. There's actual coins to commemorate this conversion, where Uncleus, a Roman citizen, an Edomite, an Idumean, after Christ, converted into Judaism. So if Uncleus didn't convert into Judaism, what would he be if he didn't convert? Who was he before his conversion? He was a Roman. If Uncleus was living today, looking the same way, would he be considered Roman? Or would he be considered another title based on his conversion? Now, I'm using their sources, folks. These are their records I'm using. So here it is, archaeological proof based on, in their site, showing Romans converting into Judaism. So I'm confused because later when I woke up in slavery, I thought I was the Gentile. It's confusing me. But when I look at history tells me something else. So what happened over here? I'm going to show you what happened over here. They say, listen here. Let's not concentrate on the man. We need to concentrate on her. She's our key. If we can get into the mind of their woman, doesn't matter about the man one day coming to the knowledge and opposing authority, because she'll teach the children to reverence us. What do we got here? And I wonder if these people are Romans or converted. I don't know. But I do know that when you look at this, honoring the slaves experimented by the father of gynecology, we need to concentrate on the womb of the black woman. Don't worry about the man. If we can get if we can get her, if we make it where she's not his woman but belongs to us, we'll keep them in perpetual bondage. Folks, this is an actual picture. See the people, look, the nurses and all that looking in the back? We fail to realize what hospitals and all that were before they became modernized. Let's just focus on her. If we can get her, they say we need a mind in her body, and she'll influence the rest. You had your psychologist, your psychiatrist, and your physical doctors saying we need to just focus on her. If we get her, we have everyone. And she went through, our women went through hell. They went through hell. Science was focusing on her the whole time because she would bring forth the prophets. Medical exploitation of black women. If we can get her, politically and otherwise, she'll convince the rest. We have to look at everything with a side eye now. And I'm not talking about our women. Our women were subjugated and was mentally abused under the system just like us. I'm not talking about our women. And I'm talking about their science and everything. We have to question everything and the real purpose behind their whole system now. Understanding that it's deeply intertwined within these prophecies we're talking about. Why? Because the Bible tells us that two woes is past. That means we are in the wake of the last woe. If we lost the northern kingdom and lost Jerusalem, what is the third woe? The powers that be, the prince of this world, is planted against our people throughout the earth. And this is why it's important that we don't look at this according to some religious stuff. And according to some people claiming to be somebody based on what religion they follow. The physical children of Israel suffered the destruction in 721 and was conquered over here by these Romans, the North American Indians and others, the Baliqua Taino Indians. The blacks who ran into Africa in 70 AD suffered physical persecution and still being persecuted till this day. Went in the cargo slave ships according to that second woe. And now realize that that third woe will be the woe above them all. They had to go into all the different countries, set up their scientific institutions to find that bloodline to be totally exterminated. To do what? So to escape the prophecy of the Israelites rising. Matthew 24, Elder Lawyer, and 22.
Say Matthew 24, verse number 22.
Read it and go to Revelation for me again.
Yes, sir. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved.
If the Most High didn't shorten that 120 Jubilees. Because guess what? The enemy knows exactly how much time they have too, according to these same prophecies. So Christ mentioned, let me get it here. Matthew 24, verse 22. Let's read it.
And except those days should be shortened.
Except what?
Except those days should be shortened.
Except the days he's given Esau, the Roman Empire, to rule in the earth. Read.
There should no flesh be saved.
None of us would be saved. They have found the lost tribes of Israel. And they have conquered the lost tribes of Israel everywhere in the earth. Even in remote areas where our people are still living almost prehistoric. Still living under indigenous means. They'll find them there and claim, no, we're here to spread the gospel. But no, it's not to spread the gospel at all. They always come with the philanthropists first. The caring Romans with their Bible comes first. We're just here to spread the good news of Jesus. But no, the devil, the prince of darkness, understand that if there's one Israelite left in this earth anywhere, the Most High will bring the prophecy through that one man and that one woman. So understand, when they set up the apparatuses, they start setting up things to do what? To scare us into trusting their science. See, Esau's a cunning hunter. He don't have to kill you himself. He just have to set the trap and allow you to choose the trap. See? Let's go back to it again.
Yes, sir. Matthew 24:22. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved.
The Most High said that if, guess what? If he didn't shorten Esau's time to rule, none of us would be left. But read.
But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened.
But because the Most High loves his people, and he promised and prophesied and promised to our fathers that he would one day establish through their bloodline a kingdom on this earth through that actual physical bloodline. It has nothing to do with what religion you converted to. Unless those days be shortened, none of us would be saved. They have our people in the earth altogether dead to right. But for the elect's sake, the Most High has a remnant in the earth who still loves him and his law and his son. He has a small remnant amongst his people. He says, for those people's sake, I'm going to cut Esau's time short. Because Esau, let me tell you, Jacob seeketh a sign, but the Greek seeketh after wisdom. And if anything, Esau have done the research and they do anything to preserve their life alive. They say, listen, we got about, okay, what we got? 1,750 years from the time that Christ was born? Well, here's the date that we need to just cut them off and destroy them all together. All right? All right, what we got? Okay, let's get some diversity going. Okay? We'll attack them under the guise of diversity. Oh, let's get some climate change going. Let's get all these misdirections, but through the smoke, we just picking the Israelites off. See? See how it works? Yeah. Let's tell them that we're going to the Congo to build a well to help their families. You know, a matter of fact, let's tell them that we need to help the poor asylum seekers. Okay? We need to help them escape. We need to help them escape, you know what I mean? When really asylum seeking should be specifically if you're escaping real war. They got asylum seekers sitting there with their foot up, talking about, yeah, I need a shape up. Make sure you put a part on this side. I'm like, what type of asylum seekers y'all got going on around here? Asylum seekers sitting there on the corner next to a tent getting a full fade. Folks, it's desolation. It's the third desolation that they're putting in place. But thank the Most High, it says that we shall be saved out of it. Folks, knowing is half the battle. And check this out. Check this out, right? If you can, Elder Lawyer, real quick. Let's go to Revelation 12 now. Revelation 12 and Revelation 13, and we'll end it there. So I'm going to ask you all. See, even Johnny Cochran said this. By the wise through the wise words of Johnny Cochran. If it don't fit, you must have quit. So I started off by showing what the modern day Christians who are infiltrated in modern day Western theology are teaching in their churches concerning God's people, and how backward all of that is. You'll never understand the prophecies and what's going on over there if you don't know the people, according to the Bible, who's under desolation and who have always been under desolation by these same people. Romans. They're not Japheth, they're Edomites. Okay. Now, is this an indictment on all Edomites and all European or white people? No, it isn't. No, it isn't. Because they can convert into the true light and the gospel of Christ. The true gospel, not that mess they're teaching from the Roman Catholic Church since the fall of Jerusalem. What you're seeing right here. They can convert and come into the true fold because there's unfulfilled prophecies for them when the Messiah returns. There's unfulfilled prophecy where the Most High said to our mother Rebecca, the elder shall serve the younger. Well, you must repent and make it to that side to serve. See? Revelation, go to Revelation 12 and 12.
Revelation 12, verse 12.
Yep.
Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea.
Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and the sea.
For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time.
See that? Since they couldn't kill the child, our people, Christ, the same blood, the physical blood that ran through his veins, runs through ours. So since they couldn't kill him, after the temple was broken, they went to do what? Satan made an initiative amongst the Roman government to seek Israelites out and destroy them, starting in Jerusalem, the second wall. Because he knoweth that he have a short time, read.
13. When the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child.
So no soon as Christ died, they began to persecute the people who brought forth Christ. They started killing the disciples, the Romans did. And now you're going to allow them to bring forth what they call the gospel, claiming they're here to push the truth of Jesus Christ and the disciples when you killed the disciples? Huh? And when the dragon saw that he was cast out in the earth, he persecuted the woman who brought forth the man-child. The woman is Israel. The woman is Israel. The Most High always deemed Israel as his wife on earth. Out of all people, he loved his people. So they couldn't get Christ, so they came after the people who brought Christ forth. Knowing that, okay, Christ at the end of the consummation is going to save these people in war against us. But I got his people. So if I kill his people, there'll be no one left for the Messiah to come back for. Read.
14. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time and times and a half a time from the face of the serpent.
A time and a half a times from the face of the serpent. Time, 700 in Jubilees. Another time, 700 in Jubilees, years. And then a half a time. What's half of 700? 350. When you add that up, 35 Jubilees. 1,700 750 years. They know they had that much time from Christ's birth to get rid of the people of Israel, the chosen people who were scattered. They just needed conquest and those who would go into these areas to dare to find us, only so that Imperial Rome can set up governments that would eventually exterminate them. Read.
Verse 15, and the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood.
That same flood in the book of Daniel. Read.
After the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood.
And the flood is the lies they started pushing through what? Christian philosophy and Christian theory. The flood is the lies that had us, that made us and convinced us that the same people who destroyed the temple are the people of the temple. See? They started rewriting everything, painting their faces into everything, and then came with a new brand of Christianity Christ and all the disciples knew not. And here it is. We're looking at one people thinking that, okay, you Christians, the Catholic Church, and saying, okay, at least you believe in Christ. And we see a history of them destroying us. And then we look at the people with the other religion and realize they both have the same headdress on. Whether you be Roman Catholic or the other side, you both have the same headdress on. Maybe because of what I showed you with Unculus, the Roman who converted. One and the same. Don't worry about it, my brother Rome. You take care of your business on your side. I'm going to do it from this side. But Israel, the children of Israel, is the aim. That's always the aim in the middle. See? Are y'all following me here? Read the 16th verse.
Verse 16. And the earth helped the woman.
How did the earth help the woman? Well, the Most High had the Essenes write the Old Testament and put it in earthen pots in the Qumran caves so that no one can claim the Bible was tampered with. How is it that you pull out that same records, the same records where the Essenes translated, the Essenes wrote down, and it's the same chapters we read in the Old Testament. So you can't claim the Bible was tampered with because that particular record, folks, I'm going to tell you right now, was stored by God so that no one can claim that the Bible is wrong. Because you can parallel what was hidden in 70 AD and others and say, well, hold up. You can't say the white man had hold of this. And the one thing they did have hold of, that's right, folks, the Dead Sea Scrolls, they took 40 years to introduce that. And then when you look at the Dead Sea Scrolls, the original papers, the name of God was erased throughout the whole Dead Sea Scrolls, and they replaced it with the Tetragrammaton. And you can tell it's a different handwriting. They say, no, we can't have the name Ahiah right here. So they took 40 years to scribble out carefully the name of the Most High so they can put the same name of the Tetragrammaton through the Dead Sea Scrolls before actually revealing it before the world. And guess what? It's their experts that said that it's eerily strange that the only script that's different in all of the Dead Sea Scrolls is where that name, like some modern scribe came through and just started putting it there. Huh? Red-handed. And see, I don't go by my own opinion or research. The Most High has given me the understanding through the word to view history prophetically as it should be viewed. And then I use their sources and their resources to confirm that, guess what? It confirms to them that I know, that they know who we are. Huh? And it says, and the earth opened up her mouth and helped the woman. The Dead Sea Scrolls, the book of Jasher, the book of Enoch, where it is revealing the gods the Roman Catholics have always worshipped. Huh? Let's read it.
And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth.
So when we got all the records that were there before they destroyed Jerusalem, and guess what, folks? They killed the Essenes in the siege of 70 AD, but they didn't find those records. The Most High had an angel hold that until our current time to reveal these records so that we can have the gospel Christ left before the temple was destroyed. So that we, the children of Israel through blood, can warn our people throughout the earth concerning the last woe. And this is why they don't like us talking about finding the lost tribes of Israel. Because as we teach the lost tribes of Israel, the 12 tribes are coming under that remnant who will actually be saved, and under the true Messiah, Christ, will be saved to judge the future of their families, the future, including their children. And now who are they looking to war against? Let's read it.
17.
And the dragon
was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed.
So they went to make war with the remnant of her seed. See? So when they can no longer come against Christ, they came after the children of Israel and the seed of those children. When we ran into Africa and became Igbo and all that, and the Congo and all that, and now their scientists came over there. In the America, their scientists started setting up eugenics and all that stuff over here. They're after that seed. Because the promise, folks, has always been in the blood. They know it. The promise has always been flowing through our veins. So they're looking to make war with who comes out of our people. You should have seen this thing where I know a family member who went and they was having a baby and all that, and all these nurses saying, well, you should do this and you should do that and all that. And it was like, and the mother and father was like, listen, we cool. We good. Oh my God. East Indian nurse and doctor panicking. Talking about, no. They're like, no, we good. We'll handle whatever we got to handle. The baby's healthy. We'll handle this. We'll handle this on the outside. And guess what happened, folks? The East Indian woman, a doctor, almost threatened the family. Threatened to call CPS and all types. You're like, what? The baby? What's up with this? And it's to the point where the father had to stand up and say, hold up, what's really going on here? Okay, the baby's healthy. You got paid. Leave our children alone. What you want to do? And I'm glad fathers are standing up now. And guess what happened? Guess what? After they left, the East Indian doctor called their gynecologist to double check on whether or not they would set up an appointment. And guess what? It was a white nurse. It was a white nurse who spoke to this brother and sister, these people who I know as family, and said, listen, I'm going to tell you now, I've never seen her act like that. And there's many people, white people and all that, who make the same decision you made when it comes to your child, and they never act like that. This is the first time I see them act like that. And, that's all I can say. She couldn't say, they're on you like this because you're black. And that leads us to our last scripture here. I love going here because this gives us some insight prophetically to what we all just came out of. Right? Let's go to Revelation 9. And let's start at the first verse.
Revelation 9:1. And the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit.
Read.
And he opened the bottomless pit.
That means hell had been released on earth. This is what we just came out of, folks. Hell had been released on earth. Read.
And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke out of the pit, as the smoke of a great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit.
Come on.
And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and unto them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power.
How does the scorpions, brothers and sisters, have power? Now look at what is being shown to John prophetically. Right? Now this was before modern science with needles and all these other things. And unto them was given power as the scorpions of the earth to have power. How do scorpions have power? Their power pricks you. And when it pricks, it administers a poison. Now think about this. Come on.
Verse 5.
Hold on. Verse 5.
Yes, sir. In fact, verse number 4.
4.
And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of God in their foreheads.
So only people who don't have the seal of God is susceptible to their traps. Because you understand this prophecy. Like, no, we good. But let's see what happens to those who don't have the Most High seal in their mind and trust the evil that's aimed towards the last desolation. Read.
Verse 5. And to them it was given that they should not kill them, but that they should be tormented 5 months.
So you don't originally die. Right? But there's a torment that comes with the choice. Read.
And their torment was as the torment of a scorpion when he striketh a man.
And their torment is what? The torment of a scorpion is when he striketh a man. So when a scorpion bites you, you don't die or get sick immediately, but you got a certain amount of time to find the remedy before what? Before it'll harm you. Or it may handicap you in certain instances. Interesting, isn't it? Interesting, isn't it? And their torment was as a torment of a scorpion when he striketh a man. So mankind would be struck with something where they'll be sick as if they were stung by a scorpion. Interesting, isn't it? But those who have the Most High's seal in their mind isn't going for it. Isn't going for Esau's traps. Read.
Verse 6. And in those days men shall seek death and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them.
So in some of these choices, what will happen is their quality of life would actually go down exponentially to a point where they don't want to live. They can't enjoy life. They're continually sick. And then eventually, like I see in Canada and other places I heard about it, in some cases, there will be assistance to actually, I would say, put it this way, assistant sleep. For those who have a horrible quality of life and isn't happy with life anyway, there'll be scenarios where you can get assistance to go to sleep. 2 woes is past and 1 woe to come. Right? There's a desolation upon us. But the remnant will be guided through this. See? Why do you think the Most High gave us this insight to convey what you've seen today? He loves you. You're his promised child. And it's time for us to straighten out biblical and religious history. With that, shalom. I'll see you tomorrow when we go into exposing and destroying the lies of the Catholic Church. That's right. We're going into it, folks. We're going to have all the teachings that the Catholic Church and Christians teach, and we're going to resolve it with the Bible. It's all a lie. Christ is God. That lie. Joseph's bloodline, with him not being the father of Christ, that lie. I need y'all to think about this, folks. Don't go to Matthew 1:18 first. Read Matthew and read all the people that leads to Christ. And you'll see Joseph right there, which means if Israel did not lose the throne during the time of the Babylonians, Joseph would have been king, Judah of Israel. What else will I be showing tomorrow? I'll be showing the bloodline of Christ's family, linked directly in charts from the British monarchy. That's right, folks. King James was a direct descendant of Christ, from Christ's bloodline, straight through Joseph. And I have the proof. That and more. Another thing, that Christ did away with his people to only get a new people called Gentiles. Another lie. Be there tomorrow, folks. We're going to rip it apart. We're going to rip that mess that came from the Catholic Church apart. And guess what? And I know other people are talking about, the other denominations are claiming, well, we're not the Catholic Church. Well, the Bible will tell you that she's the mother of harlots, the Catholic Church. You're just its child. So just because you have one piece of the harlot's doctrine and not all, it doesn't mean you're not her children. Are you worshiping on Sunday? You're still under the harlot. Shalom. Support the work, as you can see right here. You can support right here. Our weekly classes, $GOCC 144, donate. Donate. Help the work. Help the work, folks. We need your help, okay? There's a lot of planning we must do, understanding we're under a desolation. If you don't have Cash App, it's okay. Go to gatheringofchrist.org and support us that way. Look, donate, and you can personally itemize how you would like to support the church. It's up to you. If we have sown unto you our spiritual things, even Paul said, should we not reap your carnal things. All the research, the books, everything you see before us could not have happened unless you support this church. Understand this. And we're here, ambassadors of the kingdom, holders of the word, at the watchtower. And we'll be here as long as Christ give us the breath and the understanding to go into this word to help lead and guide God's people. We are prisoners to the work. There's nothing else we can do. But boy, do we love doing this. And we thank the Most High that He's given us the understanding, the perseverance to be consistent with delivering the word, because our people are going through so many trying things in this earth. And I know that these lessons, through the Spirit of the Almighty, when the book is open, becomes a beacon beyond hope. Support this work. We just opened up a new enrollment of the Hebrew and Bible Academy. Go to historytimes.org, support this work, and not only support it, we kept the price at the same price for a reason. Enroll someone else and give them the link to it. Get as many people involved as you can, knowing that eventually they're not going to allow this stuff to be taught like this online. They're coming after free speech. They're coming after the truth, especially with them understanding that we know now that we're the children of Israel, not according to religion. And we will one day stand in Jerusalem. That's right, folks. After the appointment, being appointed by the Messiah. Shalom. Yeshaya is his name. Have a great day. And thanks for your support. Honorable mentions real quick. Thank you, Russell, Miss Wayne. I really bless you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Latanya Carroll, thank you. Shaquana, thank you. Amia Williams, thank you. Marcellus Gunn, Harrison, also thank you. Caprice Anderson, Anna, Sophia Hooper, Andrea Patrice Jr., Donna Williams, and Jamisha Wooden, and more. We thank you all for your support. With that, have a blessed Sabbath, and I can't wait till tomorrow when we expose the lies of modern day Christianity. Shalom. Christianity, modern day Christianity is a lie. The Bible is the truth. Shalom. Ahiah's calling back Israel. Ahiah's gathering Israel. The Arabs and Africans told us.
The East is where we're from. The 12 tribes of Israel. In 721 BC, the Assyrian king, he took us down, we fell. With a great escape we went through the Euphrates. The Lord held the water still. To a land where no mankind dwelt, we went. The 12 tribes of Israel. So we be Manasseh, the Cubans, Ephraim from Puerto Rico, and Bali from the Isles of Hawaii. The Lord is calling back Israel. Zebulon from Panama, the North American Indians, Simeon, the Dominicans. Ahiah's gathering Israel. The Arabs and Africans told us. At gunpoint. Together our wives and children then sold us. In the belly of these great ships we traveled in fear. By the rivers of Babylon we found our brothers here. Asher in Colombia, Reuben from Australia, Issachar the Mexican,